Good morning, everybody. Taking a little brisk walk in the winter. It's a little cold, but got to get the blood moving. I got that. You know how you wake up sometimes, and you have your morning, and you kind of feel like you're still asleep, and maybe like everything doesn't feel quite so real. Kind of feel like you're in a dream state still. You're a little groggy, tired. I got that going this morning. I don't get this too often since I've started my diet. My diet of my no carbs and all that keeps me pretty alert. But I don't know. Maybe I'm coming down with something. I don't know. But I got that going this morning. A little slow. My coffee maker was not grinding, so I was having problems there. And so I'm just a little behind in terms of work and all that. Was just waiting for some people to show up. So I got a reader question this morning. I got a DM from a reader asking, why do SJWs, or what he phrased it, why does the left hate the Orville so much? And he went on and he said, I was listening to NPR yesterday. And I'm like, well, there's your problem. Don't listen to NPR. I mean, come on. But NPR, some guy on NPR was like, there's not a single TV show I hated this year except for the Orville. And he's like, why? And it's a very simple answer. The Orville is fun. The Orville doesn't take itself seriously. The Orville just tells adventure stories. It has, and he posited it a different way. He says, the Orville has everything they should like about it, right? Which is, they've got diverse cast, diverse crew, diverse this, diverse that. I mean, they got the aliens who are two gay dads, really, if you think about it. They got the transgender baby of the two gay dads or whatever, right? So, I mean, they have the diversity layered into their show. And they, they even had that one episode where the kind of slacker co-pilot guy, they wanted to promote him to chief engineer because he was, my mind's going a little slow this morning, I warned you. Because he was, just not living up to his aptitude, and he's really just a genius, and of course it was the black guy, right? So the Orville's got all that going for it, right? It's got all the diversity you could ever want, all the diversity you could ever need. But at the end of the day, it's not dark and dreary. They're not being held down by the man. The patriarchy's not stopping them from doing things. And that's the problem, right? It's problematic when things are good. It actually presents a future of humanity like Star Trek used to be. Has progressed and is in a good spot and is happy and is utopian, right? And this is a ship it's going around on behalf of humanity, doing good, right? And that's why they have a problem with it. So they've worked very hard in the last 2 decades just to ensure that every piece of entertainment we have is dreary, dark, has no heroes to it, only has anti-heroes to it, only has people you can't relate to who are being oppressed and just being upset. And the reason they've done that is because they, one, all have mental disorders where they're just depressed, they're slovenly, they're living poor lives. Even the superstars, right? They all got this going on. And they believe the only way to fix it and the only way to do anything about it is to make sure everybody else is just as miserable as they are. And is miserable all the time just like they are. And so the Orville is anti-misery. It is a bringing back of when there's heroes, of when there's fun, of when there's good stuff, and they just can't tolerate that. That alone is the biggest affront, because it says that our American Western culture is a good thing, and that the continuance of it ends up in a utopia. And that just at their base core bothers them more than anything else. So that's it. I mean, it's very simple. And it's really sad to think about. I mean, but just take a look at what they do with every cultural institution. I mean, we talked Star Wars yesterday, and we saw that they've taken Star Wars, and the people who are in this camp, the SJW camp, took the characters and made them into not heroic people who did not do any deeds that mattered, people who were pointless. They realized later on in their lives that their efforts were in vain, that they just wasted their time, that people cannot make a difference. It's a grand lie, and it is intentional, and it's the opposite of what the Orville is saying at its base core. And that's what they want all fiction to look like, because to them, that's realistic. And the reason it's realistic is because when they want to accomplish their goals, the SJWs, right, they have no means by which to accomplish their goals, because they can't actually create something, can't actually do something. It's always a copy or that's twisted to become dark or whatever, right? They can't actually push anything forward and get what they want done, because at the end of the day, they want happiness. We all want happiness, right? And they, no matter how good things get for them, I mean, look at science fiction writer John Scalzi. John Scalzi has multi-million-dollar contracts. He's got a Netflix show coming up of his thing. But by all accounts of him, look at his blog where he says he can't even write 500 words a day. Look at his Twitter stream where it's just negative, negative, negative. I mean, the guy's miserable. And so success didn't do anything for him, didn't make him feel like he changed anything, didn't make him feel like he accomplished anything. And when you have a temporary mindset and a secular mindset where you believe that this is when you believe that this is it, and you're really not fighting for anything that's I'll say it, eternal, you'll get that sense, right? And you will not be able to have true joy. You will not be able to have true peace. And the reason Star Wars originally resonated is Luke found faith. Luke found something eternal in the Force. Luke operated under something eternal, something bigger than him. It didn't matter who he was. It only mattered his contributions to the eternal fight. And he knew that if he pursued that, fruit would come, right? And that resonates with us because we know it to be true as humans. But for the few that don't have that sort of capacity, it bothers them. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's weird to talk about the Orville in this capacity because Seth MacFarlane is an extreme leftist guy, right? But he seems to understand, heroes, joy, peace, that sort of thing. He seems to have a different mindset, and that mindset is very important. So that's it. I think that's why they don't like the Orville. I just think it's because it's positive. I think it's because it doesn't take itself seriously. That's the other thing. You can't take yourself seriously in life. You can't take yourself seriously. Seth MacFarlane knows not to take himself seriously at all, and he never has. And he's gotten, of course, because he's in the club, he's gotten his accolades from them. But because he doesn't take himself seriously in what should be, science fiction is a very important thing. It's a little different than like an animated cartoon, right? He doesn't get he doesn't get the respect on that level because he's in their faces saying this is not a serious thing, which is not. So I don't know. Don't take yourself seriously. It's I mean, none of us are any better than our predecessors, let's be honest. And I think that's I think in the literary establishment world where they want to try to compare their current works and they're trying so hard to create literary masterpieces. Yeah, you work hard and don't take yourself seriously, and you'll be happy in life. There's that's what it all comes down to. But because they're all working so hard in that, because they see just how fans react to the Orville, which makes them happy, even though it doesn't have all that element to it, it just bothers them to their core. So that's it. The Orville's great. You know, I mean, there's a couple good episodes, there's a couple bad episodes. Things are, you know, I wouldn't say it's perfect by any means, but it's enjoyable and I have fun with it. And at the end of the day, that's all I want from a TV program. I don't want any more dark and dreariness. Everything is dark and dreary. They ruined Star Wars and made it dark and dreary. They ruined Star Trek and made it dark and dreary. Star Trek, the whole point of Gene Roddenberry's thing was to have a human utopian vision. I mean, if you're missing, and actually Star Wars' whole point was to have a we're all one connected utopian vision. I mean, so if you think about it, I mean, I know there's the Empire and all that, but the Empire was devoid of spirituality and devoid. I mean, if you really want to get into this, it's both of these franchises were about positivity, and that's in the 60s and 70s, the hippies had like a positivity movement to them, where, you know, I mean, they had the same policies, but the mindset was different. And now the mindset's changed, and I think the mindset's more important than the policies, personally. And that's why I don't focus on policy. That's why I just kind of focus on the global elements of things. Because, I mean, let's think about this too. Some foreign policy or some tax policy or whatever that we implement right now, whether we like it or not, is not going to have much of an impact on, you know, 100 years from now or 200 years from now. It doesn't matter, right? And so when the people are getting so outraged over this sort of stuff, it's just pointless. And I think they understand that, and that goes back to this mindset cycle as to why they hate the Orville. But yeah, the Orville's fun. I'm all about just positive stuff that doesn't make me feel bad at this point, and that's what I'm going to promote. So hope that answered the question, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please go check out my Patreon. I'm trying to make comics, and I am giving out short stories monthly. I'm going to give out some stuff on there in addition to that pretty shortly, as kind of like a Christmas gift to everybody who signs up. So please go on there. Please check it out. Please support. I want to change culture by creating culture more than just commentating on it. So thanks a lot, guys.